Whoa, buddy. Put that thing back in its holster. We haven't gone anywhere.
I don't understand.
Check out themichaeldukesshow.com for information on how to get access to the podcast.
Welcome to the party, pal.
The Michael Dukes Show.
The greed and the entitlement is astounding to me.
What more could you want from a low-budget radio program?
This is a dumpster fire.
That was just BS.
It is time to get a new perspective.
We know just what you need, and we've got just the cure. Open wide and prepare for a steaming hot cup of freedom.
I just don't fathom it.
The Michael Dukes Show, streaming live across the world.
Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to Thursday. A little bit of a brisk and chilly Thursday this morning down here on top of the world in Homer, Alaska, 23 degrees here from the Radio Ranch. Getting ready to dive into today. It is another beautiful day. We are ready to go. I hope you are staying warm wherever you are here in the state of Alaska, and you're ready. I was listening to some Christmas music before the show and feeling pretty good. I know it's early, but that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to feel nostalgic and good and get those feelings all going on. Today, we're kind of going in from a community aspect. We're going to be talking here in just a moment with Jennifer Seymour, who is a local Homerite resident who is trying to bring awareness and visibility to breast cancer awareness through a competition called Fab Over 40. We're going to talk with her about that here in just a minute. We're also going to cover a lot of the headlines, including the latest. The shutdown is over, but some of that stuff still lingers. We're going to talk about what does that mean across the state and how did it go, what was accomplished, I guess, in the last 43, 44, 45 days. And then we're going to pick things up in hour two with Brad Anderson, who's the executive director of the Homer Chamber of Commerce. We're going to talk about some of their new initiatives or old initiatives that are back again for this year, including the Shop Local Bingo that's going on around Black Friday this year. And then we're going to talk a little bit, about some other things that are happening, including the gubernatorial race. Michael Tavalerio has written another article over at Must Read that has got some analysis in it. And although I normally agree with Michael, I think he's missing the mark here on some stuff. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. And I think anything else that just comes up and strikes my fancy today, because I'm mercurial. That's how I am. I just whatever bright shiny object catches my fancy, that's what we're going to talk about today. All right. Don't forget, tomorrow, of course, is Firearms Friday, where we get a chance to talk about issues surrounding gun rights and other stuff. And Chris Chang will be joining us tomorrow, as well as Willie Waffle. Top Shot Chris Chang from the History Channel will be on tomorrow to talk with us. And I think that's all the housekeeping for today. I think we've got it all in the bag. So that means we're going to jump on over here to our first guest of the show today. And that means it is Jennifer Seymour, who's a local realtor here in Fairbanks. In Homer. I've forgotten where I lived for just a moment. And she's here to talk with us about the Fab Over 40 competition, Colossal's Fab Over 40 competition, which is a nationwide campaign that's trying to raise funds and awareness for the National Breast Cancer Association. And let's bring her on board this morning to discuss it and see what she has to say. Good morning, Jennifer. Look at her. She's got a Christmas tree behind her. We already know we're all in the same boat here. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fabulous. And I had my plants in the background, and you said you were listening to Christmas music, and I swapped up my background real quick for you.
Oh, okay. It was super quick. All right. Well, good.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, no, it's one of those things where people complain about, well, Christmas is, it's October, it's November. Is that, I just want to feel the Christmas spirit. That's all I want. I just want to feel a little Christmassy, a little hope, a little nostalgia. And sometimes we need that. So you know what? Poo-poo to all those people who don't like it. That's what I'm saying right now.
Absolutely.
So Jennifer, first and foremost, tell us just a little bit about yourself before we get into this the Fab Over 40 thing. And let's talk a little bit of background about who you are, where you come from.
Well, I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky. I've been in Homer 5 years, well, going on 6. Took me about 15 minutes of being here to realize I never wanted to be anywhere else. As soon as I moved here, I was already working on my real estate license, got here, became a realtor, immediately just noticed, of course, what wanted to keep me here was the amazing community. And so I wanted to be a part of that. So I started real estate here and have been loving that. I've been at Bay Realty the whole time I've been here, and I'm loving that experience. But I also got my bar certification in the year 2000 during COVID. And I've been working on that. And bar is kind of like Pilates, if you're not familiar. It's low to no impact body weight movement. Literally anyone can do it. Helps you keep you mobile and balanced in your alignment, posture, all these good things. So I've started doing that. I started that about 8 months ago here in Homer. I saw a real need for different forms of fitness and movement, and our community is always looking for things like that as we get into the colder, darker months. And really anything that can create more community within the community, I'm really for it. The sense of community in Homer is what makes it so special. So being able to create more of that and be a part of that has been an absolute honor. So with those two factors, being a realtor and being a bar instructor, and I'm a single mom on top of it, so my plates are always all spinning. And doing all those things, I somehow found myself nominated for this Fab Over 40 competition, which features women over 40, breaking stereotypes, barriers, whatever we want to call them, that, kind of limit us as we move along in our aging, as we're so lucky to be able to do so. But yeah, I found myself in the middle of this competition, and being able to really talk about all the wonderful things I'm doing in my life, bring a little more attention to the bar community I'm trying to build in Homer, bring a little more attention to Homer itself. I think anytime a person in Homer is doing something that's making our community shine and show exactly how special it is, I absolutely love that. So yeah, that's what landed me here. And Fab Over 40 certainly is the reason that we're here to talk today. So yeah, let's
All
get
right.
into
Well, yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. Now, we've always, there's always some kind of competitive thing going on, movers and shakers under 50, or, those over 30, or, there's always some kind of bracket or group that they're putting people in. Tell me
Sure.
about Colossus's Fab Over 40 competition and how it ties into the breast cancer awareness and detection and things like that. So give us some details there.
Sure. Yeah, it's the 5th year for the competition. So it's their 5th anniversary. It features women nationally across the country, 40 and over, that are just doing fabulous things with their life. That's whatever that looks like to you. And at the heart of the Fab Over 40 is the National Breast Cancer Foundation. Every vote that you place for any of the participants, you can place a single vote daily, but then of course there's the option to give a monetary donation, and every dollar that is contributed is a vote, and that dollar goes towards the National Breast Cancer Foundation. And so being a part of a competition is always cool, but being part of a competition that this is really the heart of it, we're really raising funds and awareness for breast cancer and supporting people that are going through breast cancer. What a beautiful thing, right? So happy to be a part of it. It's a real honor. I was going to go somewhere else with that. My brain got ahead of me.
That's okay. That's
Ask me
okay.
a question.
Yeah, no. Is it something where you have had, do you have a personal experience, a friend, family member, anything else, who suffered? I know that, breast cancer is, I did a lot of work when I was up in the interior with the Breast Cancer Detection Center, hosting some of their galas and things like that, because that's a thing that strikes a lot of people. There's a lot of folks that we know that are in our day-to-day lives. Breast cancer is a killer, and a lot of it, has to do with awareness, early detection, I mean, there's so many different things that need to that need to be brought forward on this. Do you have a personal experience that makes this especially memorable to you?
Absolutely. And I think exactly what you said, we all do. Like it's something that touches so many, unfortunately. But I think everyone can relate to this cause and I think would want to support it because I think who doesn't know someone that has been affected, right? And for me personally, it's my aunt. She's my godmother. She's the closest to me, one of my biggest supporters still to this day. And she's a survivor, which I'm really proud to say, but she really went through it. It was, I want to say later the 90s. So it's been quite a while and she's thriving and doing amazing. And I'm so grateful for that. But yeah, I think we've all been through a really scary situation and maybe some of them with not so happy endings. So, you know, and awareness is absolutely the key. Early detection, right? Mammograms, self exams, just paying attention, keeping an eye on things, body awareness, knowing what to look for. A lot of people, I mean, cancer is often a silent killer because we don't know what we're looking for. So,
Right. When you said originally, when you said, and I got my bar certification too, people started thinking, man, she's a lawyer and a realtor. So bar is again it's a movement and exercise, right? So tell me, dive a
yeah.
little bit into that for me so that people understand it a little better. It's like Pilates, but not. Give me some background here.
It's a lot like Pilates, but not. It's like Pilates with some ballet fundamentals. You certainly don't have to be a dancer by any stretch of the imagination. I have clients weekly that have never done bar. It's their first time. It's just body weight exercise, low to no impact really, and very much Pilates fundamentals, very similar. I will say there's lots of different ways that you can do bar. You can do it with a high intensity um, like a high intensity mode, or you can do it like a high cardio mode. I don't really get into any of that. I like a nice slow Pilates style flow, which if anybody knows in exercise land, doing it slower just makes it harder. So I like a nice slow burn. The ladies that come to my class, I have one gentleman in class too, Mr. Homer himself, actually. He's one of my clients as well. We have a really good time in there, and everybody leaves with legs shaking. So it's pretty awesome. We all get together and work on ourselves. And honestly, learning to show up for myself, I want to say, is one of my bigger things that I highlighted about myself in this Fab Over 40 competition. I think as humans, we show up for others quite regularly, but when it comes to ourselves, we kind of take a back seat. And for me, learning to show up for myself every single day and do it consistently has been a real game changer just from my life perspective. And then being able to do it in this awesome community and have the awesome community members choose to do that with me, it's really the highest honor, truly. It's
Even
just
a
awesome.
better thing. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So if we want to find out here, so how do we support you as a community, as listeners, as folks from around the state? It doesn't just have to necessarily be in Homer, but
Of
how do
course.
folks support this? If this is a competition, I'm assuming, and as you said, it's a dollar for dollar. Everything that's going on is going to help support the breast cancer foundation. So how do folks participate if they want to vote for Jennifer? Jennifer Seymour is our guest here from Homer. If they want to vote for Jennifer, or they want to help support it, or maybe they just want to throw a few bucks in the kettle for breast cancer, the Breast Cancer Foundation. What do we need to do here? How do we go about this? What makes all this happen?
Well, Michael, there's a link, and I don't know it by heart, but if there's somewhere we can put it, attach it, there's a link that takes you to the Fab Over 40 website, and then you can certainly it'll actually have a link that goes straight to my profile so that you can click support. Like I said, you can vote free daily, or you can make a monetary contribution. And I will say, if you are interested in really donating to the National Breast Cancer Foundation, of course that gives me votes, but I'm much more interested in highlighting the donations to the foundation. And there are certain times a day where they double the votes, so votes and dollars are matched. So double your dollars and the opportunities that you can, and those those windows are kind of surprises, but you can vote daily. So getting on there and checking to see if it's a time when your dollars can possibly be doubled for the foundation is something to look out for.
All right. I I did some homework while you were there talking, and I
Did
did
you
I
find
did
it?
find it. Yep. You're currently second in your group right now. So
Yeah.
we're gonna get some links. I posted the link up here in the chat
Awesome.
room, and so folks can go over there to fabover40.org.
Yeah.
And all I did was Google Fab Over 40 and Jennifer Seymour. And we've got a link here right here in the chat for folks who may want to participate in that. Now, that is a not only do you get a chance to be to help out with breast cancer awareness and things like that, you also get a chance to be a cover girl, get some get a little bit of a bump for your business. You get a little bit of a cash prize. Tell me a little bit about if you win the group, what do you get here?
Yeah. Yeah, well, the big prize is $40,000, which I would love to put back into my studio here. I would love to, add some features, equipment, things that would make the experience a little more boutique. That, bar is a boutique fitness item. It's not your common modality. So with bar comes this experience, right? And I want the people that are becoming this community deserve that. So I would love to, expand my studio first and foremost. That's my biggest dream in my mind at the moment. And of course, you get the cover of a magazine, which that's great. But more here to expand my studio. And there was one other prize. Oh, and a spa vacation, which I mean, who doesn't need one of those? So yeah,
If you win,
I
you got
could
to
certainly
promise to
go.
give me the
I
spa
could certainly
vacation.
go for. Yeah. And then of
I need
course my bar business is being highlighted, which I'm all for that. I just started it 8 months ago, so it's fairly
Mhm.
new. I'm still building momentum in Homer. So this is also an opportunity for me to be able to talk about it, get some attention on that, hopefully expand the community. We're adding new members weekly. It's super fun.
You know what helps a new business off the ground, right? Of course, is radio advertising. So we'll talk. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
Oh
We'll,
yeah. I'm
we'll
here.
talk. We'll talk later. We'll talk about that later here.
Awesome.
All right, Jennifer Seymour again, running for the Fab Over 40 competition. You can find it at fabover40.org. I put the links up in the chat room right now, and got a direct link to her profile on the Fab Over 40, and you can vote now. And of course, again, if you donate as well, all those dollars go to the National Breast Cancer Foundation. And National Breast Cancer Foundation. Wow, it's a good thing I talk for a living.
It's a
And
mouthful.
I know it is. It's all good. So Jennifer, I hope that folks out there will support you and help you out. And again, a new business and being able to get a chance to get some recognition for yourself and for Homer and everything else. It's going to be fun. Now the voting ends today at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're going to vote for Jennifer, you've got 11 hours to basically get it done. So this is a last ditch effort to try and bring her over the top. So I'm hoping that you can go ahead. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Well, it's for this group. So they've done this. It's been a few weeks now of this competition, and it's being drug out. You advance. Next, it'll be. I think this is the top. Is it the top 5 right now? The next
I
it'll
think it's
be.
the top 5,
Then it'll move. Yeah, then it'll move to like the finalists, I believe. And every voting period is like a week. So really, it's just it's long and dragged out so that we could get more and more money for the Breast Cancer Foundation. So that's why they do it in increments. I think that's my takeaway, and I'm for it. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you can vote every day. So yeah, voting for the top 5, I guess I should have read deeper into the thing here. Voting for the top 5 ends today. And so then you're going to end up in that next group, and then you'll get into the finalists. And you can vote every day for free. You can put 10 votes down for $10, 25 votes for 25, et cetera, et cetera. And anything you can do to help out is a great way to support the community and support the National Breast Cancer Foundation and everything else. So I love this. I think this is a fun way to bring all that stuff out. And of course, Bill says he's already voted, so you've got one vote at least today, and I'll vote again as well. So
Awesome.
Jennifer Seymour, thank you for coming on board and sharing with us. I love to see this kind of awareness, and for new businesses and people trying new things. I love this. So appreciate you coming on board, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future. You'll have to give me a rundown on where you end up at the Fab Over 40 when it's all done.
Yeah, I totally will. I totally will. And thank you so much for having me. What a wonderful way to start a Thursday. I have a noon class in the middle of the day today. This is one of my more fun days of the week. So this is top-notch way to start it. Thank you.
It's absolutely perfect. Again, you can find her. Just Google Fab Over 40 and Jennifer Seymour, Seymour, and you'll find her link. Or if you can go to the chat room, I've got it posted up in the chat room. Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on board. We appreciate it. Hold the line for just a second. Don't go anywhere. Folks, that brings us up to the break. And so we're going to continue here with some other stuff. I mean, I like this. Can we just keep doing stuff like this? No, we got to go back to some politics. All right. Well, we'll do that for a little bit here. It sounds less fun, but we'll do it. Back with more of the Michael Duke Show, common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. We got more coming up right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Running on 100% pure beard power. Oh, also some coffee. We dip our beard in coffee.
Nice beard.
The Michael Duke Show.
Okay. Jennifer Seymour, our guest. I thought I'd give her one final bite at the apple here before we let her go. Is this your first go around on this? Is this the first time you've ever participated in something like this, Jennifer?
The competition or your show?
Yeah. The show, obviously, but no, the competition.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was a real surprise, honestly. I got in it. I got an email. I was nominated. I don't know what happened there. That's wonderful. I filled out some questions, honestly submitted things. Months went by. I forgot it even existed. And then I got an email. Hey, you've been selected to be in the top. It started in the top 20. And I thought, okay, it's pretty cool. Let's go. So I've been just building momentum since.
That is so great. All right. Well, we hope that you get a chance to win and get a chance to get that extra little bang for your buck there for your studio, and of course to highlight the importance of breast cancer awareness here in the community. So good luck. Good luck. Yes, it's BAR, BARR. Brian is still asleep this morning. Oh, it's BAR. Yeah, not the bar. So it's BARRE. All right, it's all good.
Not bar law, not drinking, none of that. I don't even drink alcohol.
I know. I think Brian was thinking, oh, it's a bar. I could go do that. That'd be fun.
A lot of people think that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And what's the name of your business again, Jennifer, for the bar?
It's Jennifer at the Bar, but Jennifer on the front end has 2 J's because my nickname from my family as a child is JJ. So I incorporated that into my brand name just to make it more challenging to spell. But it does make my app a lot easier to find in the App Store because there's 2 J's on the front of my name. So if you just type JJ, like start to spell Jennifer with 2 J's, you get my whole app and you can come to class and you can schedule your stuff and it just makes life real easy.
There you go. It's Jennifer at the Bar. Jennifer at the bar.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Jennifer Seymour, thank you so much for coming on board. And we'll talk later. Appreciate you giving us the intel.
Awesome, Michael. Thank you so much for your time and for having me.
Thanks for coming on board. We appreciate it. Jennifer Seymour, our guest. It was kind of fun, man. We got to know what's going on in the community and get all the details. Kim says Homerites. Well, I almost said Homeroids. That was the old joke, was that it's Homerites. Homerites, Homeridians. Does that make me a Fairbankson, is what Kim said? Fairbanksian. Yeah, I think that's probably close. Anchorite. Wasilla Billy. That was the other one I used to win. Wasilla Hillbillies, and we're Wasilla Billies, right? Or something. Anyway, Denzians of Homer. How about that? That's the fancy one. Denzians of Homer. So you could check it out. Anyway, go over there. Let me link that one more time. It's free if you only want to vote once. If you want to give some back to the Breast Cancer Foundation, then you can vote 10, 25, 50, 100, 250, whatever you feel like. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. Check it out. And vote for Jennifer over there while you do it. Fabover40.org. And there's you can see all the links there. It's all good. Okay. Am I caught up? I think I'm caught up on everything here. Everybody else, you guys are all a little quiet this morning. I see Brian and Terry and Rick, and everybody else is off in the chat room. The normal 6 o'clock crew, 6 o'clock club members, gentle Denzians of the Hamlet of Fishhook. Yes, that's where Brian's at. Brian's up in the Fishhook doing his thing up there. So stay ungovernable, my friends. He's a Willow-Billy. Tawny says she's a Willow-Billy. She's from Willow. And so she's a Willow-Billy. 14 degrees. That's it. It's warming up there. I think Rick said earlier that it was up to, what did he say, 7 or 11 or 7-11? He was having a drink at 7-11. It's 12 degrees, he said. Warming trend, which is better than whatever he was, 3 below or something. Anyway, I'm glad. I'm just happy to be here in Homer, man. 24 degrees and a little crisp, little clean, but not a lot of snow, and feeling pretty good about it. All right, enough of the yapping. Let's do it.
The Michael Duke Show. Not your daddy. Wait, sorry. Not your daddy? Ooh, not your daddy's talk radio. Whew. I was scared for a second. Thought we were going down. Here's Michael Dukes and the show.
Oh, yeah. Not your daddy, nor do I play him on TV. Just saying, in case you were wondering. It is Not Your Daddy's Talk Radio. It's the Michael Duke Show, where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like talking about. That's what it's all about. Frank just said, I thought MD was Mr. Homer. No, that's John Fink. Man, that guy, he epitomizes. He's over there doing his thing. All right. If we're ready to go, I guess we should dive into it. And see what else is going on around the state. Of course, the big news for those, although we don't normally cover national politics, this does have an effect. And of course, so yesterday, late in the day, the U.S. House voted to end the shutdown. Finally, I mean, finally, what was accomplished over all this, other than causing hatred, discontent, and confusion amongst everybody? What was accomplished? Well, not a lot. Turns out that they fought, and what they wanted was a vote on the extension of the ACA tax credits for everyone, which that's what they wanted, a standalone vote. Now, arguably, there's been a vote on this already over and over. Every time they tried to put a clean continuing resolution up, which didn't include that, they voted. So I don't know. This is going to be, to me, it seemed it was like much ado about nothing. Now, if I had to pontificate on this, and I am wont to pontificate, I think probably there was a bit of a plan here, was to hold the shutdown out long enough to see if it would affect the elections. That's kind of my feeling on it, that they felt like they could hold an issue hostage and they could try and lay the blame on the feet, at the feet of the Republican, coalition in Congress. And they thought, well, we could just hold it out till there, and then we can blink, and then we can do it. And I don't know if it really accomplishes. I mean, of course, yes, we've got Memdami in New York, and the guy in West Virginia, and now somebody in Seattle that, oh, look, we've elected these people who are, for socialism or bigger government or whatever, but that's not really, they were blue states to begin with. I mean, it's not really that surprising that this is what I don't think that they accomplished what they were looking to accomplish. I think, in my view, from a little tiny guy in Alaska looking in, I just don't think they accomplished what they think that they accomplished. And I think a lot of people got hurt in the process, and I just think it was needlessly delayed and dragged out. I mean, what are we, 40, whatever it was, 44, 45 days of shutdown and everything else. And here we sit. Now, the thing is that it's going to take a few days. The airline flights that they've started to shut down on, well, it's going to take a few days for that to get, they hadn't even gotten up to the 100% of, because what was it? Grant Aviation was supposed to reduce all their flights by 10% by tomorrow. And now the shutdown is stopped. So now it'll take a few days for it to go back and retroactively. But they'd canceled something like 2,000 flights across the country. So that's going to take some time. Money coming out to other parts of the government, the food assistance, the federal employees. And part of the deal, one of the things that the Democrats did win on their concessions was that apparently all the essential employees are going to get paid. Which there was some question as to whether or not the Trump administration would withhold some pay from something. And so I think they got that. So good. I think everybody will be made whole, and here we'll go back. Now, by the way, again, I just want to point this out, just pointing it out. I mean, the debt only went up $500 billion in 6 weeks. I'm just going to let that sink in for a minute. $500 billion in 6 weeks while we were all shut down, quote unquote. That's how much money we had to borrow to keep the government going. And yet nobody, even my friend Nick Begich, well, last time we talked, we weren't able to really get into it. I mean, because that's something, and he and I talked about a lot before the election was, it's math, right? It's arithmetic. I mean, if you're a business owner, if you're somebody like Jennifer, who is just trying to make her new business work and everything else, you've got to make the math work. If you're a household, you've got to make the math work. You can't continually spend more than you take in and expect that it's going to work out okay, right? The landlord, the utilities, those kind of things, they don't get paid on promises. And you can't go print more money or extort more money out of foreign governments to give you more money to make it work. I saw a blurb the other day from James Hickman, who I follow, who's does investments and things like that, and he was talking about, for the first time in a long time, central banks are now selling gold because they're trying to stabilize their position, because they realize the dollar is in deep trouble. The dollar, as the world reserve currency, has some real prestige and some power, but the more that we FAFO around with everything that's going on around here and start playing games of chicken with the economy, the more other countries realize the dollar may not be as stable as it should be, and maybe we'll stop trading in dollars. Maybe we'll start trading in, gold, precious metals, maybe brick. That's Brazil, Russia, India, and China. They tried to create a breadbasket currency the other day. A couple of years ago, they tried to create a breadbasket currency, which could have replaced it. They talked about the petro-euro dollar replacing the dollar, the petro-euro replacing the dollar as part of it. I mean, this is the thing. We keep fooling around, and eventually somebody's going to go, I just don't think we want to trade in dollars anymore. And then, it's going to be nasty. Because if the world no longer trades in dollars, then that's when you have an inflationary problem that is huge. It's the only reason we've been able to get away with this for so long, is that the world reserve currency is the US dollar. But if we screw it up to where it's no longer in that position, Oh, it's going to be bad. It'll be bad news. So why, okay, fine. Continuing resolution. This takes us to January, right? This continuing resolution that they just passed takes us to January, 8 weeks. That's it. So we had a 6-week shutdown to get another 8 weeks out of the government. And these yokels still won't pass a clean 12-month, fully funded. You know how long it's been since they've actually passed an actual budget through regular order? It's been like 15 years. 15 years of, we're not going to balance our budget. We'll just up the limit on the credit card. That's essentially what they're doing. If you're a household budget, that's what it is. You haven't been writing a budget. You've just been upping the limit on your credit card because, nobody wants to face that pain. Nobody wants to. It's math, people. You can't fight math. And the more that we continue to go, and it's the same thing we're facing here in the state of Alaska. This next year, we're facing a $1.5 billion budget deficit here in the state of Alaska. $1.5 billion. I mean, our overall budget is just under $6 billion. It's like $5 billion, right? It is. And yet next year we're going to face 1.5. How are we going to make, if they took all of the PFD, not giving us our piddly little $1,000, that's only $660 million. If they gave us that, if they took that away, that's 660 out of, let me do the math, 1.5 billion less 660 million is how much? Oh yeah, almost $1 billion, still remaining in deficit with no more pots of money to draw. How do we pay for it? The bottom line is that we're going to have to, and there's going to be pain. Either it's going to be pain through taxation. There's going to be some form of new tax. It's going to be pain through cuts, which, I think should occur because you can't live beyond your means. But, if you don't want to do that, you're going to have to, and maybe it's a combination of all those things, cuts and new taxes and everything else. But something's got to happen. We just can't keep getting it. We just can't keep going the way that we're going and expect that it's going to work out. I keep remembering that line from The Princess Bride. Life is pain. Anyone who tells you something different is selling something, right? You can't just continue to have all the happy things and great stuff and not expect that eventually there's going to be pain. The music is going to stop and you're going to have a room of 50 people and there's going to be 2 chairs. And when the music stops, why do you think all these people are bailing out of the legislature? Why do you think Andy Josephson's gone and Lyman Hoffman's gone and Click Bishop's gone and all these people have left the legislature in the last 2 years? You don't want to know why? Because they can see it. They helped get us here, but they could see that the yogurt's about to hit the oscillating rotor, and that's it. All right. Okay. I want to continue this discussion, but we are up against the break, so we'll just continue here. I want to talk about, I guess we'll talk about the governor's race as well. And this new article from Michael Tavolerio, that's right, I had it right the first time. Michael Tavolerio over at Must Read. I normally agree with him, but I'm going to disagree with him on something here. We're going to talk about that as well coming up. All right, the Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio. Back with more right after this.
If you missed the show, you can listen to it on your time with Dukes On Demand. Oh, and it's free. Like America used to be. Streaming live every weekday morning on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
Okay. Is the IRS still closed? Asked Chris. I don't know. The FCC is still closed. I went onto their website this morning and tried to see it. And the big red banner is down, but it's still shut down. Still shut down. I got things I got to file, man. I got things I'm supposed to file online and have been trying to file online since October the 1st. Okay. Let's see. When idiots in office decide to start asking for a sales tax, says Tim, can I opt out like they opted out of paying me my PFD? I mean, you could try, man. You could try. But remember, he who's got the guns makes the rules in that regard. That's what government's about. They're still cutting flights in Anchorage, says Kim. Yeah. Apparently they didn't get the memo that the shutdown's over and everybody's going to get paid. So I don't know. Terry says, interesting article by Suzanne Downing this morning over at the Alaska Story. Which one? Let me refresh. Maybe there's a new story that I missed. No, it's still the same one. All right. So we'll see what goes with that. All right. Good morning. Miguel is back in town. Look at that. He's got a picture of himself on a beach with his bride. You're just teasing us, Miguel. That's not nice, man. That's just not nice. All right. I'm scrolling backwards here. Up in the war, it's 24 in Soldovia. Yeah, 24 up here on top of the hill here too, Chris. Don't starting rumors. You have fish and feathers. There's a fish tank in the house. Goldfish. Rick apparently had an aquarium problem this morning. He had an aquarium problem. Okay. I think I'm all caught up on, and Brian's like, what is Pilates? Brian, I think somebody better get an intravenous line into Brian's stat. He needs some coffee immediately, immediately. Yeah, it's a good thing. Oh man, it's Thursday. I mean, the 13th of November. How did we get here so fast? No idea. All right. What other stories have we got here? Kenai Public Radio gets a big boost. They got a grant. I'd like a grant. Can you give me a grant? Oof. Man, their grant was pretty good size too. They got almost a $40,000 grant at the local station here. Oh, and the one up in Soldotna got almost $35,000. I mean, can I get a grant too, please? I'd like that. Treg Taylor back in the news too. Treg Taylor apparently, and boy, Suzanne and company, not a real fan of Treg apparently, because every little move he makes, every bomb he breaks, they're watching him. Right. Sorry, that was the police. Is that what that was? Every move you make, every groove you take, they're watching Treg Taylor. He's back in the news and not in a good way. After the whole thing with Adam Crum calling him out for hanging out with anti-Trumpsters, apparently. That Chris Story thing yesterday. I got to tell you, I got a couple emails from folks saying how much they enjoyed that. And I appreciate that. That was just kind of an impromptu thing. Somebody asked me to read it for YouTube so they could share it with their friends and family and loved ones and people. So I thought I'd call Chris today and we'd work something out where he could put it up on his Facebook page if I if I read it for him and, took my time and did it right, and didn't have it break in the chat room there. So, can you run a radio station on 40K? No, Brian, but it helps. Brian just asked, can you run I mean, that's only 4.5 months worth of electricity, but it does help. Every little bit helps. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, man. Okay, so we got a few things that we're going to get into. The big thing that I really raised my ire. The state officials told people in Kipnuk they're going to rebuild. They're not going to move, even though that's what the people want. And now would be the perfect time. I got some thoughts on that as well. I got some thoughts. We're going to go.
The Michael Duke Show. Seriously humorous with a pinch of intellect. Sorry. That is humorous. Here's Michael Dukes.
So, I saw this story and I was like, what? I mean, I don't understand. So residents of Kipnuk, which of course was one of the villages that was decimated by the typhoon, residents of Kipnuk have been wanting to relocate the community. And it makes sense. Like I said, I was talking with somebody from Chivac, who was there during the first part of the big typhoon. He caught a plane during one of the lulls, but he said, man, it was crazy up there. But he pointed out that Chivac had been moved and relocated in the mid 50s, late 50s. They moved the whole place from down in there's like an alluvial fan down there, right? Where all this stuff was taking place, where all these villages were. And it moved it down from in the wetland area. They moved it up on top of a bluff. It's like 150 foot bluff or something. They moved the town of Chivac up to the top of the bluff. And so during the hurricane, they lost a couple roofs because of the wind, but they didn't get flooded because, they were on higher ground. Which makes sense because, again, the folks who lived in those areas historically, they were nomadic, and they'd be there until, the things start to get wet and wavy, and then they'd go somewhere else and they'd move to higher ground. So now that you have permanent structures, it made sense. Let's put the stuff on a little bit higher ground. And that apparently is what Kipnuk has wanted. They've been talking about wanting to, move and relocate to some place where they're not going to have this problem year after year. Well, residents of Kipnuk met at a East Anchorage High School on Wednesday, and it was the first large meeting of the community since they had left the congregate shelters, right? So there at the meeting were representatives of the state, of FEMA, the Small Business Administration. They were all meeting to inform the community about what the disaster response was going to be. The response, from the state responders who were on the ground out there, coordinating with the federal agencies, their response to the disaster will not be to relocate, but to rebuild what they can. And to which I'm like, wait a second. Just wait a second. You're going to spend, I don't know how many millions of dollars to rebuild a community in exactly the same place where it will be susceptible to the same kind of climatic and environmental conditions that caused you to have to rebuild it in the first place. Brian Fisher, the director of the Alaska Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, said the programs that we have to respond and recover from Typhoon Hailong in this disaster will not relocate the communities. They're intended to repair and replace damaged infrastructure, homes, personal property, subsistence, gear, and equipment from the storm, which sounds to me like pretty much everything, right? We're going to repair and replace everything. And then Fisher said, while we cannot relocate your communities through this disaster, FEMA and the state will do everything we can to do mitigation and resilience. Why? It would seem that now when the village is pretty much empty, right? Most people are in shelters because the place is destroyed. Why would we not take a beat and think, well, wait a second. Maybe we have to, maybe these people need to be housed for the winter. And then we could come back in the spring and really but that gives us some time to take a look at this. He said, so that the repairing and rebuilding of your boardwalks, probably on pilings to elevate homes that we repair and rebuild to be more resilient from the next storms. Is it me, or does it seem like that is the talk of planning for failure? To me. And again, I don't live there. I don't know anything about it, but I am a student of history, and I'm kind of watching this, and I'm like, why would you pay to rebuild, replace everything? Okay, we're going to put it on pilings. Okay, well, how high does it have to be safe? And if they want to move it to higher ground where this won't be a problem. Anyway, he said, it's my goal to help buy all of you. It's my goal to help buy all of you in your community's time to have that longer conversation about relocation. So we're going to buy you time to have that conversation. It would seem to me that in the short term, we have time, right? I mean, if the community is pretty much destroyed and vacant right now, why would we rebuild it to then have a conversation about relocation? We've got a time frame right now. Why don't we just move? Especially, let's just move it now instead of having to do it down there. This makes no sense to me whatsoever. Again, they're intended, the emergency programs, they're intended to repair, replace damaged infrastructure, homes, personal property, subsistence, gear, and equipment. That's pretty much everything. Are they saying that because the program is not meant to relocate, that's why they can't do it? Well, that's just some bureaucratic red tape thing. You know what? Somebody just needs to make a decision and say, we're going to do all these things that we would do, but we're going to do them over here instead of where it started. Not because some bureaucrat said, well, it has to be in the same spot. That makes no sense whatsoever. Where is the common sense in that? It's amazing they call it common. It's so rare. All right, we're out of time. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. I can tell you right now, says Tawny, because I used to work at the state's emergency management, that the programs are not flexible enough to move the village. However, I think the governor could make that happen. Ask him. Okay, well, I mean, if the program is not flexible enough, then somebody at the top, whether it's the governor for the state emergency management, or whether it's the president or whatever, because Brian says something similar. He says it's not within FEMA's charter. As structured and constituted, FEMA cannot build new. So if the place gets destroyed, FEMA can build new in the old location? I mean, it's crazy. There's no, to me, maybe that's not how it was originally constituted, but somebody needs to go, maybe this one time we should make an exception. Put guardrails on it so it can't be done all the time or whatever. But I mean, how high do you want? Yeah, they're building the houses 10 feet up on stilts. I mean, is that true? I mean, are they going that high? How high do they have to go? I mean, Chris is like, spend the money to move the village, not keeping the building in the same place. Duh. Charlie said, has anyone heard about the native corporations helping their people? Yes, I have. I know that the native corporations have people on the ground there. I know specifically that at one point the native corporations donated something like 40 generator units and a bunch of other equipment to the areas out there. They bought four-wheelers for people and emergency police people to. Yes, I have heard some of it. How much, I don't know, but I have heard some. It's replacing, said Ryan. It's not considered building new if it's on the old location. It's replacing. Dude, that is so stupid. I mean, that was, that is just stupid. Terry said, maybe build a wall around the village. Chris says, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Tawny said, FEMA's rules states that repair back to what it was and that the elevation is mitigation. I mean, come on, man. And you know what's going to happen? Then we'll have another series of negotiations for another 5 to 10 years. And then the federal government will eventually have to pay to move it anyway. It's freaking nutty, man. It is just nutty. Government, crazy, stupid. Got it. Perfect. Yeah, that's it right there. Terry said she went to Kathy Tilton's run for Senate announcement last night, packed house. George Rauscher was there. 3 of us put the pressure on him to be on the show. He committed to be on the day before election. Really? Really? Right? That makes perfect sense. Yeah. Oh, Brian says, see, you're catching on, MD. So working as intended is what you're saying. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Because then, if we can fight about it for 10 years and do studies, somebody gets paid on all the studies. And then, of course, people got paid to rebuild it. And then the studies. And then when they do move it, somebody else will get paid to relocate or move it or just build it back. I see. Now I'm catching on. It's a feature. Just madness. Well, Terry, I appreciate you bird dogging on George Rauscher. Good. I mean, good luck if you think it'll actually work. I don't know if it'll actually work. I mean, again, I've never been able to get the guy on the program. And in fact, he called me and told me that was just not just not my thing. Just not going to talk to people. You're an elected official, Jack. I mean, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Oh, just crazy. Build back better. That's Chris is right. Again, the feature, build back better. All right. Frank said, had Treg on our Wednesday meeting yesterday, Laundry House Gang. Nothing earth-shattering. He did agree with me that there is no division, department, or state agency that have accepted federal dollars and that there was no fully sovereign entity left in the state government. I mean, we've been co-opted. We know that. That's not anything new, Frank. Every time you take that dollar from Uncle Sugar, he does what he does. Does he do what he do out here? I see Brad is hanging out, eating my donuts in the chat room, drinking my virtual coffee and eating my virtual donuts. All right, we're going to be back and we're going to chat with Brad here in a second. Meanwhile, let's get to it. You guys ready to go? The Michael Duke Show, common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio.
Buddy, put that thing back in its holster. We haven't gone anywhere.
I don't understand.
Check out the MichaelDukesShow.com for information on how to get access to the podcast.
Welcome to the party, pal.
The Michael Dukes Show.
The greed and the entitlement is astounding to me.
What more could you want from a low-budget radio program?
This is a dumpster fire.
That was just BS.
It is time to get a new perspective.
We know just what you need, and we've got just the cure. Open wide and prepare for a steaming hot cup of freedom.
I just don't fathom it.
The Michael Dukes Show, streaming live across the world.
Live around the world on the internet at michaeldukeshow.com and across the state of Alaska on this, your favorite radio station and or FM translate. Hello, my friends. How are you guys doing? Are you ready for hour 2 of this beautiful Thursday? 24 degrees here on top of the world in Homer, Alaska, where we are enjoying a beautiful semi-cloudy sky. I hope you are enjoying it wherever you are today. We're about to jump into it with some more local stuff. Something that I admittedly admired about Homer before moving down here was just how much community involvement went on. And there is no different in that with the local Chamber of Commerce. The chamber here is more involved than really any chamber that I've seen in many communities around the state, and I've worked with a lot of them. They are they're doing some good work down there, and leading the charge on that is the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce. Somebody said Brad, the Doom Prophet Brad. No, it's the other Brad. It's not Brad Keithley. It's my friend Brad Anderson, who's the executive director of the Homer Chamber of Commerce, and he joins us this morning to talk about some of the things that are going on down in Homer here over the holiday season. And he joins us right now. Good morning, Brad. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Michael. Good morning. Doing great. And thanks for that clarification.
Yeah, no, you are not. You're not the Doom Brad. You're the good Brad. You're not the Doom Brad. Brad, and I really mean that. I mean, watching what's going on with the, what the chamber in Homer does is that they are so intimately involved in so many things and helping out. Again, all supported by community members. I'm a member. One of the first things we did was become a member of the chamber because I really appreciate what you guys do and your mission down here into making Homer a great place to live, to work, to play, and for people to visit and enjoy themselves. And this is a very unique thing. Now, again, before my folks, all my friends in Fairbanks are mad because I'm talking about something in Homer again. Hey, if you know somebody at the Fairbanks Chamber, have them call me. Let's talk about some of the things that they're doing. But I just know because, again, Brad's involved and the Homer Chamber's involved in so many different things. I mean, it's visible. It's here. We see it. We know it. And I really wanted to highlight this, Brad. Black Friday is always a good time for retailers. But over the course of the last 15 or 20 years, of course, as e-commerce has continued to raise and everybody's thinking about the big box stores and everything else, some of the mom and pops seem to get a little bit forgotten in that formula. And so the Homer Chamber has come up with something fun and unique, and you guys call it Shop Local Bingo. So let's talk a little bit about that. What exactly is going on here, and tell us about how this works.
Absolutely. Yeah. We, like as most chambers do, everyone tries to help promote shopping and supporting local businesses. And during the holidays, American Express years ago started that, Shop Small Saturday campaign. So we kind of tried to figure out how could we make that a little bit more fun, show that support for here. Don't drive down the road and go to a big box store. That money just leaves our community. So about 3 years ago, we came up with an idea of why don't we make it into a bingo game? And so where we get businesses to come on board and they take one of the bingo spots on the card. And then as you go around, this happens Friday through Sunday. So it's not just a one-day thing. We try to give chances to get out and see as many businesses as you can. And just as soon as you get that to that store, they'll go ahead and stamp it for you. And really, and we asked them to put on some fun things, either, merchandise specials, put some special gifts and, treats out there, but make it a fun day for everybody. And so for every bingo, which means a straight line in one direction or another, you get entered into a prize drawing. And then if you complete the whole card, get a blackout, you get 5 entries into that. And each of our sponsoring businesses, we asked them to donate a prize package. And this year they'll be donating at least a $50 or more prize package. And so then we combine all those into these big drawing for the gifts at the end of it. We had such an incredible response to this over the past couple of years that we had to expand our card to 36 spots. So it's a 6x6, a little bit bigger than normal. But we really just have a lot of fun with this, and so many people make a point of going to every single one and do that blackout. That it's fun. It definitely supports our local businesses here, and you can win some great prizes.
Yeah, no, and I think that anything that can focus on the locality and bringing that business, into the local community. I mean, I shop online probably as much as the next guy, but if I can find something or do some things to help support the community and bring it together, that's what this is all about. There are certain things that we can find here that we're helping out our local neighbors by soliciting and patronizing their businesses. And I think that's what's important. And like you said, it obviously, because you've had to increase it, you had to grow it, it obviously has been a big success.
Absolutely. And, and so many people comment afterwards that, I'd never been into that store before. I never knew what they did. And so it's building new relationships with our business community and the members here. And then last year we had people, come to the chamber afterwards or go to one of our participating businesses and said, hey, I came in here to be with my family for Thanksgiving. We heard about this. We decided to stay for a couple more days and be part of it. But that's what I love. And then they were getting comments. We plan on coming back next year because this was too much fun. So even if you don't live here locally, come and visit with your family or friends down here and make the day of it or make the weekend of it. It's a great time. I guarantee you're going to have fun. You'll meet a lot new members, new businesses, and friends over here. And if you bring that completed card back to the chamber, starting Monday through Wednesday, or actually Thursday at noon, then you can get entered in that drawing. And then we do the drawing at our holiday tree lighting ceremony on Thursday, December the 4th.
Yeah, and I did want to talk a little bit about that as well. So are all the businesses is the bingo card full now, Brad, or are there still spaces for businesses to get on board for the last, because we're only we're 13, 14 days out right now from the shop local bingo.
Yep. We started, it's 2 weeks from tomorrow. Yeah, it kicks off. I think at the end of the day yesterday, we may have had one spot still open. Someone had expressed interest, but hadn't really signed off on it and got the prize yet. So I would imagine by this morning that will be completed. But if you're a Homer business and you want to be part of this, there are some requirements. You do need to be in the general Homer area. We can't stretch it out too far, make it impossible for people to really, or inconvenient to go and visit them. So it is very much the greater Homer area to be participating in this. And then we also ask them to make sure they're open at least 2 of the 3 days between Friday and Sunday. And
right. Because the shop local bingo goes from the 28th to the 30th. So that's Black Friday and then Saturday and Sunday. And again, 36 businesses available on that, and it just sounds like such a fun time. And of course you guys are doing other things as well. That was actually my first event as an official resident of the Homer area last year, was the holiday tree lighting, and that's going on shortly thereafter, right? Just a few days after that.
Yeah, it's 1 week after Thanksgiving, so that'll be the following Thursday, December the 4th. Gosh, I really don't even know how many years. This has been probably 25 plus years we've been doing this celebration. So that we kicked that off around 5 p.m. We have this big tree at the chamber that is all decorated, and we have the mayor come on down, and then just after 5 o'clock, we do the official lighting of the tree, and then the fire department brings Santa and Mrs. Claus down for the kids to kind of meet with them. And then Homer Electric is sponsoring our s'mores and hot cocoa station. So they'll come in. We have s'mores cup for the kids and hot chocolate and cider. Captain's Coffee is also a big supporter of that. And it's just a fun time. We have the KP brass bands playing. The high school choir is going to sing. The children's choir is going to be there this year too. And it's a wonderful time. And Michael, you saw last year, our parking lot is packed for this event. It is a lot of fun.
No, it's great. And again, it's that kind of that small town feel that I just love about Homer. And I'm sure many other communities have a similar thing going on, but I just wanted to highlight this because I think it's important to support local businesses, and be able to bring the community together. And again, this is something that the businesses have decided to do on their own. I see somebody was complaining in the chat room about big money this, big money that. This is the Chamber of Commerce here in Homer. You guys are all about the local business. This is local business support. I was at a meeting the other day with the chamber and just walked around the room, and we all introduced ourselves, and there were people from all over the place doing all kinds of, this is a community that cares about, this is a group of folks, the businesses and everything else that care about the community. And that really struck home to me, sitting in that room full of folks who are just there to try and better better the business environment and better the community as a whole.
Yeah, and you, Michael, you heard for yourself too the new arrivals to Homer. Folks that we need to do some recruitment down in Colorado, I think a little bit more, but we have 3 new businesses that moved up from Colorado over the past year. And, they were looking to get into a community like Homer. They came up here, just loved the population, the community here, the scenery, especially, attractive, but they just really felt they wanted to be part of what was special about this community. And so that new member breakfast you're referring to was just a great time to hear those stories and understand why they wanted to relocate and start a business up here. Or we have one gentleman who is retired veterinarian who came up here, he's looking forward to getting more involved in the community. And so, I love those stories, but we have some amazing businesses here, and we're getting more calls. We're getting a call from a gentleman the other day from Florida. He and his adult kids, this is time to get out. There's so many people calling, wanting to move down there from New York, that they're like, okay, this is our time to cash out and get back into a kind of community we want to be in. So,
right.
We might even be getting some more arrivals from Florida soon.
Well, that'll be a shock to their system from Florida to Alaska. That'll be an exciting time. Okay. And of course, if folks want to find out more about what the chamber's doing and everything else, they can go to the chamber website at homeralaska.org, right? And if you do have that one slot left and there's a local business that's hearing this and might want to participate, they should reach out to Silas and see if it's still available. And if not, get on the waiting list for next year.
Yep. Our main phone number is 235-7740. Just call and ask for Silas. He's our membership director, and he'll get you on that and tell you what the opportunities are there. But come on down, have some fun. And I would love to see more communities do this. I think we have because we're such a tight, close, knit community and how we're located, this works especially well for us. But I hope more people do something like this, encourage more local business support.
Yeah, no, I love it. Like I said, I think of all the communities that I've been involved with over the years, that the Homer Chamber, I think, is the most engaged in the community with businesses, but also, you wear the double hat of kind of the visitors as well. Can you give us a tease, Brad, before I let you go here? Can you give us a tease as to some of the things that we can expect to see in the coming year? Obviously, we've got the end of this year, shop local, and then we've got the tree lighting. But going into 2026, you guys have got some big plans.
Oh my gosh, I think we have one of our most ambitious event calendars we've ever had going into next year. So we kicked off a new event last year called Homer Harbor Fest. It's a big music festival, and then we combined a boat show with it, and live art competition, food trucks, and everything that's special about Homer. And we had a tremendous response. 1,700 people for our first event came out to that. So this next year, we're going to make it a 2-day event. That'll be June 5th and 6th. And it's our kind of kickoff to summer. And that'll be down by the cruise ship dock with the backdrop of Ketchimak Bay behind our stage. And we're working with the city this year to take the fishing hole campground and make that an event camping area. So it'll be a special way to come on down, camp there. There'll be activities in that area as well. But yeah, like I said, a boat show, great music. That'll be a fun event. Next year too, but this is the country's 250th anniversary next year. So we want to make sure for our residents, anybody visiting, that we're part of that celebration of America 250. And so we're going to be following our parade. We're going to do a big community picnic event. That'll just have some fun games for the kids, a beer garden, cornhole competition. We got a bunch of other games being planned for kids. Yeah, so that one's going to be a great time. And we're actually, I hope we can pull this off, but it looks like we're going to be able to. We're going to put on an a Homer Air Fest event at the end of August. So we are a big aviation town. We have a lot of pilots that are here, and the airport we have is phenomenal, and a lot of opportunity to continue to use that more. But we know there's a lot of interest in that area, so we're going to put on something that celebrates that industry as well. Again, that's late August. August 29th is our target date. But stay tuned for more information on that. But the other one too, Michael, again, our Winter King tournament, that is in its 32nd year. That's the largest tournament in Alaska, even the West Coast. And so that'll be coming up on March 21st.
The Winter King tournament is something else. Last year, we got a chance to broadcast live from the Winter King tournament, and I helped run the radio room for the boats and things like that. There's some crazy fishing out there on that day. It is an amazing, amazing time. And of course, again, if you are planning on doing anything on this coming 4th of July, you might as well just plan your trip to Homer right now, because again, we're going to have a huge 250th anniversary of America on the 4th of July this year down in Homer. Book your rooms early is what I'm saying. It's going to be huge down here, and it's going to be a fun time. I have the privilege of being part of that committee, and we got some big things planned, folks. It's going to be a fun time for sure. So Brad Anderson, Executive Director of the Homer Chamber of Commerce. Again, Shop Local Bingo kicks off on the 28th of this month, Black Friday, for 3 big days. And then if you get your bingo card punched, then you can get a chance to win a prize. They'll be drawing at the tree lighting, and it should be fantastic. I can't wait. So, Brad, thank you so much for coming on board and joining us. I appreciate that, and we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you again here in the future. Okay.
You bet, Michael. It's my pleasure, and thank you for this opportunity.
All right, we'll hold the line for just a second, Brad. Folks, we got more coming up. The Michael Duke Show continues. Hour 2. We're going to talk a little bit about this article from Michael Tavalerio in Must Read, as well as the latest in the governor. Man, there's some infighting going on here. We're going to talk about that as well. We'll be back. The Michael Duke Show, common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio.
We're broadcasting live through a series of tubes,
allowing all of these entities to provide streaming stuff going on the internet.
Well, it's kind of hard to explain. Sorry. Streaming live every weekday morning on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
Okay, Brad continues with this one final segment here. I think this kind of sums up what my experience has been in Homer. Chris says, when Soldovia had a basketball tournament that we held at the Homer High School, I did the hospitality room, and I asked for help from businesses in Homer, and we received a lot of donations for so many people and businesses. I really appreciate everything received. They're great and very helpful. That's just kind of the community here, Brad. I mean, they're just kind of a community of people who they just, they give. They want to be part of it here. They want to do the thing. They just give and give and give. And that's, I think, one of the things that makes Homer so special.
It is. And we just had this discussion with our board the other day, and most of the business do this without anything in return. It's not like, well, if I do that, I want this kind of recognition. No, most of them just, yeah, we'll support you. And that is what I really makes this town special. So, yeah, I'm glad to see comments like that from others.
And of course, I have, again, I'm so happy to be here, so proud to be part of the community and of the chamber itself, because this is one of the few, and maybe it's because of the size of the town. I don't know why, but it just seems like the chamber here is so involved in so many things. I mean, I've worked with other chambers in small communities, but just nobody seems to engage the community like the Homer Chamber does. So good on you, Brad. You guys have been doing some good work down there. Any final pitch to anybody who's a business in the area that may want to participate, or maybe is not a member, or some of the benefits? Give me a 90-second elevator pitch here on why somebody who's listening and who's not a member should be a member.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mike, I appreciate that you recognized what we really try hard to do at the chamber to engage the community as much as we can. We are a membership organization, so we do everything we can to support our members, but we also take the lead, and we recognize we're the main group that can take a lead and provide some community events and support that can bring our community together. So we really work hard to do that. My board is very supportive of that effort, and yeah, it's fun. We are unique because we're at the end of the road. We're pretty isolated, but we represent a large area over here that is a very diverse but growing community. I cannot tell you the number of business inquiries that we get on a regular basis of people coming down here, and so we do everything we can to try to provide a good, stable economy here. And there's some exciting things in the future that's going to provide more opportunities for businesses and people for employment opportunities here. So, yeah, we take our role in this community very seriously, and I'm glad it's getting some recognition.
Well, you deserve it, my friend. You guys have been doing good work out there, and I appreciate it. And I'm happy and proud to be part of it with you. So, thank you so much for coming on board, Brad, and good luck. And shop local. That's what we're going to do. Shop local in 2 weeks. We're going to make it happen and get it done. And then the 4th of July. I can't stress enough.
Oh, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun.
You guys, if you guys are going to plan a 4th of July anywhere in the state, you should make it in Homer, because it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to find out more about it. So, all right. Well, thank you, Brad. Appreciate you coming on board. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. Brad Anderson, our guest, Executive Director of the Homer Chamber of Commerce here in beautiful downtown, the burgeoning metropolis of Homer, Alaska. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Anything else in the chat room that I need to know about? Jody asked, did they approve the use of jet skis on Ketchimack Bay? Yep. Court said, good to go. Good to go. It's crazy. But you can't use the Homer Harbor, says Willie, to launch your jet ski. Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know a jet ski, so I don't know, but more power to you. More power to you. All right. Who else is in the chat room here this morning that I haven't highlighted to say anything? Jennifer said, thanks for having you on the show. Good to see you, Jennifer. Thank you so much. I guess that's it. I'm all caught up. You guys are all good to go. I see somebody just said good morning to Donna, so I assume Donna is in the chat room. Good morning, Donna. We should have Donna on here sometime in the near future to talk about the finances of the state. I mean, from her perspective. I mean, normally you have to pay big bucks for that, right? Maybe we can get her perspective without, maybe she won't charge me $1 million to not $1 million. I'm just, I would love to hear what Donna has to say about the upcoming fiscal crisis. I really would. Oh man, it's crazy stuff. All right. I'm going through here. Or talk about the Kennedy Center. Yeah, Donna could either talk about the state of the state, or she could talk about the Kennedy Center. One of the two, or both. I mean, it could just be a freewheeling conversation. That's why I love long form so much. Hi, folks. How are you? I joined early. Man, I'm such a bad radio host these days. It's like this last week, I've been a hot mess coming back to the. I'm supposed to do this when we come back to the show.
Public enema number one. Oh, wait, sorry. Public enemy number one, which makes more sense. On the other hand, he's a little bit of a pain in the Michael Duke show.
See, I'm supposed to do that. And then you know officially that we're back and all that kind of stuff. But no, I just get yakking and, this is why I'll never make it in the big time, folks. That's just, never make it in the big time because I don't have a producer beating me about the head and shoulders, telling me when we're about to pop back on air. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to our beautiful conversation this morning about, wood ticks, lunatics, and politics. People now are asking questions about Homer for the 4th of July. Are there any good hotels downtown? Man, there are so many good places to stay. It's one of my favorites, quite honestly, is Ocean Shores. And if you ask for the Michael Dukes room, they'll know what you're talking about. There's a room down there that's nice and quiet, and you get this beautiful view of the ocean. And it was our favorite place to stay. We stayed in that room for almost 10 years every time we'd visit here. It's that good. So go out there and make it happen. Big news coming out of Nikolaevsk. The charter school, the charter group is waiting on the decision from the Kenai Borough Peninsula School District. And November the 17th apparently is the drop dead date. Now, will the school district decide to let them charter their own school in Nikolaevsk? I hope so. If they don't, they better have a damn good reason, as far as I'm concerned. These people have been bending over backwards and working their fingers to the bone there. Lisa and the whole crew, Natalie, down in Nikolaevsk, trying to put this charter school together so that they don't have to bus their kids an hour, out to Anchor Point or something every time. They got this perfectly good school building there, and they could take it, use it as a charter school, still use it as a community center, all that kind of stuff. The 17th. So we're 4 days away from an actual decision from the school district. And if they don't approve it, like I said, they better have a darn good reason as to why. We'll see what happens with that. All right. Some of the other highlighted news. The gubernatorial race is, we're still, what are we, 9 months, 10 months away from the primary election. And still we could see the infighting is continuing. Not only did we have a story about Adam Crum, candidate for governor, decrying and calling foul to Treg Taylor for attending or holding a fundraiser outside with a bunch of anti-Trumpians or whatever, some Washington blue bloods, right? It's just why. Which my first question is, holding a fundraiser outside in Washington D.C. It smacks. It just feels wrong, right? That was just my first thought. It feels wrong. I don't care if they were anti-Trump or not, quite honestly. But the whole thing just feels weird. But then Suzanne Downing's got another guy, and I don't know if now remember, Suzanne Downing left Must Read over the story of Treg Taylor and the grand jury. That was the story that they had told her to pull down, and she quit over not pulling down that story, right? And it was about Treg Taylor. So I don't know if there's a little animosity there or what, but there's a new story out. I'm going to report on it just because I find it interesting for a couple of different reasons. And the story headlined reads, candidate Treg Taylor poses for campaign photo, or post-campaign photo rather, wearing State of Alaska Criminal Division jacket. So he was on the campaign trail, and he posted a picture of himself at some Fairbanks restaurant somewhere, eating a deliciously dang, that looks good. I don't know what it is, but it's got whipped cream and berries and something else on it. It looks delicious. Anyway, he posted himself enjoying this dessert while conspicuously wearing an official State of Alaska Department of Law Criminal Division jacket. Now, for those of you who don't know, he ran the criminal division of the Department of Law prior to becoming the Attorney General. So I imagine this jacket's probably been in his closet for a while, right? This is the way it is. Now, apparently there was immediately a bunch of folks who sent the photo to Suzanne. Said the image immediately drew scrutiny from legal observers and former state employees who sent it to the Alaska Story, pointing out that the Alaska Executive Branch's Ethics Act bars current and former officials from using official insignia, uniforms, or state-issued property in any political activity. The rules are designed to prevent candidates from implying a government endorsement or authority. Even passive use, such as wearing a state logo jacket in a campaign photo, is typically prohibited. Now, I don't know if this is much ado about nothing or, whatever, but I think Treg needs to sharpen up his game a little bit here. He needs to he's already had the ethics thing go on, right? When he with the whole APOC filing thing with he and his wife and the hotel, the apartment, whatever. Remember that was a big thing where they weren't filing individual contributions and it was a hardship and they wanted a waiver. There was some ethics concerns about him traveling traveling the state on the state's dime when he was still the Attorney General, attending private events and speaking with groups, that people thought were like pre-campaign activities before filing a declaration of candidacy. And now you've got this. So, I mean, I don't think that it was intentional. I don't think that it was, but at some point, I think maybe Treg, you might want to hire somebody who is like your troubleshooter on anything that may even have the appearance of ethical impropriety at this point, right? Somebody should have just said, hey, that jacket, you may not want to wear that jacket. I don't think that it means the state of Alaska endorsed him. I think he may be wearing it as a reminder of, look at what I did. I'm the guy for the job because I used to be tough on crime, or I used to be, whatever. I mean, but again, you may need to have somebody you may need to check yourself before you wreck yourself, right? You can't keep doing that. He doesn't work for the state anymore. So there's no real formal, they call it formal enforcement, that can happen here. But seriously, at some point you got to be like, maybe you should hire somebody to, check things before you post them, or, check your clothes before you leave the hotel room to make sure that you're wearing something that's not, going to get you in hot water or get you in trouble, because apparently there's people out there who are running and gunning for you. Now, ironically, if you remember the straw poll that took place earlier this year, there was a straw poll in the, was it at the Kenai Fair? I think it was the Kenai Fair. It was a straw poll, and, Treg Taylor and Adam Crum, they were down at the bottom of the list. They were, fighting for 1 or 2 points. That was their, they were fighting it out back and forth. And maybe this is what's going to continue. Maybe this kind of back and forth is going to continue between them. It's not going to endear anybody to you. Let's talk about bold ideas. Let's talk about financial decisions. Let's talk about a lot of this other stuff. But let's not get tied up in others. And again, maybe just hire somebody to check your stuff before you post it, before you do things. That might not be a good idea. I mean, you could have just blurred out the little thing. You could have just blurred that out. Nobody would have thought about it. Wouldn't have been a big deal. And it's not really a big deal to me anyway, but somebody's going to make a big deal out of it. There's always going to be something going on. So I had to kind of laugh at that when I saw that post this morning on the show. Michael Tavalerio writes opinion pieces for Must Read Alaska, and he and I are on the same page, and we agree on things. He wrote an article about the gelding in politics, the gelding of conservative leadership. It's a 2-part series so far. I don't know, maybe he'll have a third part, but the first part talks about the gelding process, which we'll briefly go over here when we return, and then the second part talks about the plan to avoid getting gelded. And he talks about what he thinks is the path forward. And quite honestly, I'm going to disagree with him on some of it. Some of it, not all of it, some of it. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. We'll be back right after this.
Listened to by more staffers in Juneau than any other show because their bosses told them to. And after what they just heard, oh man, they're going to be pissed.
You're a bad, bad man.
The Michael Duke Show.
Okay. Let's do this thing. Yeah, like Arctic Cat Gate. Remember that? That was Andrea McLeod. She was the one that was bird dogging Sarah Palin at every opportunity. I can't even remember how many. I lost track at, I think, 10 or 11, 12 different ethics violations she filed against Sarah Palin. And one of them was the fact that she wore an Arctic Cat jacket to an Iron Dog, start where her husband was competing. And that was an endorsement. Remember that? This is so stupid. So stupid. Chris says Two River School in Pleasant Valley are trying to get that school to be a charter school as well. Melissa said, Chris, I hope that the board votes it through, but the administration is fighting it. They want to put a lot of work into it, and I think it will be a great addition to the district. The whole homestead theme of it is amazing. I hadn't even heard about that. That'd be great. We should have Melissa on the program next week. Now that she's no longer part of the school board and can speak as a private citizen and lay down some hard truths for us. Maybe we should have Melissa on and we just call it Melissa Uncorked, Melissa Unplugged, Untethered, Unshackled, Ungovernable. Maybe that's what we should do. Should do a Melissa Burnett segment that talks about schools and what she sees now. I mean, now again, Melissa is a moderate conservative, right? She's moderate. She's not like frothing at the mouth like me. And yet they treated her like she was to the right of Ronald Reagan most of the time. It's just yeah, it'd be great. All right, so we're gonna do it. Melissa says she'd love to come on because this is the kind of stuff we need to talk about. These other opportunities that are out there. And what did you say yesterday, Melissa? Oh, you said her replacement on the board said they were talking about some changes, and her replacement said, "Has anybody checked in with the unions on that?" Right? Has anybody checked in with the unions on that? Because. Okay. I mean, is that where you get your marching orders? I mean, is that where you, yeah. That's the Buttgate. Yeah. The Buttgate thing. Fat Ray says that I'm a hippie compared to him. He is so right. He makes Ronald Reagan look like Lenin. All right. Gotcha, my friend. I feel you. I feel where you're coming from. She loves them unions. All right. My question to you, Melissa, is though, are they going to reinstitute all the janitors now that you've cut them all out of the budget? Are they going to put that $1 million back in the budget with all the staff that you guys have cut back? And if so, how are they going to pay for it? I'm just asking for a friend. Just asking for a friend. I mean, I just paid my property taxes in Fairbanks here a couple weeks ago. And I just inquiring minds want to know. Inquiring minds want to know, how are they going to pay for that stuff? Right? You know what? I feel it coming on. I feel it coming on. That end of the year just, that end of the year thing where I don't even want, I'm getting so agitated. I don't even want to talk about. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Just so agitated by all of it. This man, I mean, the whole thing with not moving the village, right? That's just indicative of the whole problem. Well, but the thing says that we can't do it, so all we can do is rebuild it, and then we'll do a study, which we'll pay for, and then we'll move it, which we'll pay for, and we'll build it all brand new. So now we've built it like 3 times between the rebuilding and then all the studies, and then the moving and the building again. But that makes sense, right? Because we couldn't possibly do it right the first time, because the rule says we can't. We make the rules, Jack. We make those rules. Somebody needs to go, I understand that there's a reason why we don't do this, but this is going to thing. And why don't we just move it? Sorry. Don't get me worked up, man. We on the radio? Almost swore. Lisa says they're fundraising for the charter school by selling organic potatoes. Potatoes, mash them, put them in a stew. Potatoes. Lisa, where do they find them? Yep. Where do they find the potato? Where do they go? Drop a link in the chat room, Lisa, or a phone number or whatever. Where's my Christmas music? That's what I want right now. Where is my Christmas music? Yeah, the FCC's open again. No swearing. God, look at all this splick. All right, let's get to it, shall we? Look, I caught myself before we rejoined. I feel proud. Proud, I tell you. Let's get to it. Here we go. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio.
The Michael Duke Show. Not your daddy. Wait, sorry. Not your daddy? Ooh, not your daddy's talk radio. Whew. I was scared for a second. Thought we were going down. Here's Michael Dukes and the show.
Okay, let's get to this real quick because we don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to go through it. Michael Tapillario writes over at Must Read. He talks about the gelding of conservative leadership. What do you mean by gelding? Well, you know what gelding means, right? It's when they take a stallion and they snip it, right? They make it easier to control. It's calmer. It's more manageable. It's less resistant. So he talks about the gelding, what happens in gelding in politics. And he used President Trump as an example. Trump entered office in 2017, with his hair on fire. He's going to make changes. He's going to drain the swamp. He's going to do all this stuff. And then he found out that the president does not necessarily command the federal government. He inherits it. And of course, you've got cabinets and agencies and bureaucrats who are slow walking his directives or actively fighting against him and all this kind of stuff. And I would say that the first term of Trump, he learned a lot about how all that stuff works because they came back with a game plan. They came back with a game plan on how to change things. That's where they came together. What do they call it? The warrior code, an operational plan. That's what they put together, right? And that's why when he came in, he changed out bureaucracies. They changed it so that the agencies had to fall in line with presidential directives, and they changed personnel. They did a bunch of stuff because he discovered that one man alone, even if he is the most powerful man on the face of the earth, can't make the changes that were needed to be made. Now, there is a slippery slope argument there, and I know that, and I'm not going to get into that. We can come back to that in another day. But the gelding idea, you see where we're going with this. Same thing's happening in the state of Alaska. It's happened time and time and time again. We saw Dunleavy go down there the first term with fire in his eyes. He hired Donna Arduin financial warrioress. I mean, this chick is, she is the Xena warrior princesses of financial stability, right? Brought her on board. She goes through the whole thing. They put together a budget. They put it out. Oh my God, apocalypse now, right? I mean, the sky is falling. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. It's going to be bad. And he immediately got a lesson in power. Because just because you get elected doesn't mean that you have the power to make the changes that are necessary. And I will say that Michael Tavalerio, he makes some pretty interesting comments here that I really appreciated. He basically says that he says this gubernatorial lineup, with which now has 14, 15 people in it, resembles less of a political field and more of an opening lineup of an Alaskan-style beauty pageant, where the judging criteria leans less towards structural reform proposals and more towards who can carry a warm smile saying, I care deeply about Alaska's future. And he's right. I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, it just seems like, for the most part, that's what it is. There hasn't been a lot of substance on any of these discussions. But the problem is that the governor is alone. It may be the most powerful executive in the country as far as governors go. He may have a lot of latitude. He or she may have a lot of latitude on what they can do. But the bottom line is they have to deal with the legislature. And he talks about consensus building. He talks about, how these things need to go. And he talks about how a campaign cycle should be about more than just electing a governor. If you really want to do it, you need to start looking at the broader picture and electing a conservative consensus across the board, which I do agree with. He says, the broader pattern that Alaska has lived through for more than a decade is that we elect a chief executive who promises spending discipline, resource development, and restoration of the statutory PFD. The public mandate is consistent and clear, but once they get into office, the governor confronts a state legislature, public unions, mainstream media, and bureaucratic structure that is not aligned to carry that mandate forward. The result is not a reversal of voter intent, but a neutering. He says neutralization. I call it a neutering of it, because it is castration. That's what it is. It's gelding. So he goes on to talk about how, we need to have a unified path forward. The simple goal is a conservative supermajority. That part I agree with. That if you have to get a concerted campaign together to move conservative control in the legislature into a supermajority of both the House and the Senate. No bipartisan majority, that they have to do that. A governor elected under that framework will not be governing alone, and he will have an aligned legislature. He can restructure the bureaucracy. They can mandate, they can have that mandate that the voters put out there be protected. The PFD could be restored. The healthcare structure and all the welfare for both the left, like the social security, the social safety net welfare, and the corporate welfare could both be rationalized. Education can be returned to parents, and resource development can be unleashed. I agree with all of that. But here's the problem. He talks about in his section, talking about a unified strategy. He wants a platform that all the candidates that we would elect could agree on. And he's highlighting some things which I think are important, but not critical, not as foundational to the problem that we're dealing with. He starts out by saying, keep in mind, candidates that the entire Alaskan voting population by now has figured out that no matter who gets elected, the new governor will be gelded, especially if Juneau's permanent coalition stays in place. Alaska cannot afford 12 Republican candidates running 12 separate campaigns, burning through several $1 million to divide the vote and produce another executive with no power, especially under the ranked choice voting labyrinth. If these candidates truly care about Alaska's future, will they agree to one shared platform? And here's his vision of a platform. Number one, Medicaid expansion and welfare cost reform and restructuring. Number two, education reform with parental governance. Number three, cheap, reliable, abundant energy and natural resource development. Number four, restoration of the statutory PFD formula. Instead of competing to be the next figurehead who gets gelded, will all candidates agree to draw lots for a singular candidate? One become the nominee. The others form the war council. Every remaining candidate redirects their campaign funds in concert with every Alaska conservative political party, and they all come together. Now, this is a very kumbaya moment, and I would love to see that, but we don't play well together, folks. Conservatives just do not play well with each other. So that's going to be very difficult. But let's go back to the 4 points. Medicaid expansion and welfare cost reform and restructuring. Education reform with parental governance. Cheap, reliable, abundant energy and natural resource development. Restoration of the statutory PFD. The only one that I truly agree with on there is the restoration of the statutory PFD, but that's a caveat. That, again, goes back to where do we cut so that the money that funds the PFD is not being stolen and used for something else. Because contrary to popular opinion, the PFD is paid for. The PFD is fully funded. The problem is that the legislature keeps stealing the money and putting it into other things. Now, he highlights Medicaid expansion and welfare cost reform and restructuring as the number one problem. As well, I mean, I don't know if it's the number one plank in his thing. It's a lot of money, don't get me wrong. It's a lot of money, and it's a big chunk of it. But I think the bigger question is, where is the overall fiscal plan? Where is the long-term fiscal maneuvering that we need to do to see our way out of this hurricane? These are pieces and parts of it. But where's the overarching plan? And hardly anybody has even talked about it. Even Bernadette has talked a little bit about it, and she's talked about doging and zero-based budgeting, which are good starts, but where is the overall plan? So while Medicaid expansion and welfare cost reform and restructuring, that's important. This is, again, we're laser focusing on one or two little tiny pieces instead of where is the overarching fiscal plan for the state to steer us out of this morass that we're in right now. We could get so myopic on the little things that we're missing the bigger picture. We need a much broader overview. I would love to see what he's talking about. But I think, he's missing the boat by focusing on the trees instead of the forest. Gotta go. We'll see you. I mean, wow. Okay. Let me go back up here. Where's our food conversation? Okay. Lisa shared a link to the chat room there for the potatoes. You can go over there and check it out. It's not even Thanksgiving yet, says Willie. Christmas starts next month. Why you got to be such a downer, Willie? I'll listen to Christmas music whenever I want. I'll do what I want. You can't tell me. I'll do what I want. Where are Lisa and Dan on the village moving issue, says Brian. You think it would take congressional action to amend the FEMA rules? Look, let's be consistent here. If we're going to insist the state follow the rules of the PFD, we should likewise accept an agency constituted by the Congress of the U.S. to follow the rules imposed. I agree. I'm not saying that they shouldn't follow the rules. I'm saying somebody needs to pass a law, if that's what it takes, in Congress. Or somebody needs to be, if it could be done through executive authority, maybe Trump should sign something. Or, whatever. We need an election to restore the PFD back to the original payouts, not Bill Walker's new formula. Yeah. They're so splintered. Ranked choice voting steals who voted for who, period. I mean, ranked choice voting is just it's a symptom of the largest problem. All right. We're out of it. We're out of time. Yep. We'll see. We'll see where we go from here. All right, but we're out of time for today. That was a fast show. Oof. At least I didn't lose my audio today. Knock on wood. Until I said... See, I was joking. I really didn't lose my audio today. All right, my friends, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be kind, love one another, live well.
We've shed our terrestrial radio skin, and now we are slimy lizard internet people. It's the Michael Duke Show.